Hello, it's Maryon Stewart, and I promised to come on this afternoon to answer some questions about soy isoflavones. So I thought while I was here, I'd probably answer some other questions as well. And I've got a little bit of time before I have to rush off. So if you've got some questions, by all means, come and put them in, and I'll try and answer them if I can. But I'm going to go through some of the questions that have already been sent in. So first of all, about isoflavones, there was, I think, some talk about the fact that they can conflict if you've got certain medical conditions. So if you've got a thyroid problem, for example, lots of people seem to think that you can't take isoflavones, particularly soy isoflavones. The research actually shows that you can. It may influence the amount of medication you need. So you may need to get your medication adjusted from your doctor, but it doesn't stop you taking soy isoflavones. And there was some research published earlier on this year by some really eminent scientists, and they've looked at this over time, and it is fine for you to take the isoflavones. And so that's even true for the women who are asking about the fact that they've had breast cancer, and they're saying that they've been told that they can't take soy isoflavones. Again, the research shows that you can, and not only can you, but it also helps to prevent a future episode. So everything that I recommend is safe, it's tried and tested, and I always err on the side of caution. I just want you to know that, so that I am in touch with different researchers and professors from around the world who are undertaking cutting-edge research in this area. And I always do double-check if it's something that I'm not sure about. So please do, if you feel unsure about something, then do post your questions in. I think there was also some other concern about how many isoflavones you need, and we're aiming to have about 100 milligrams of isoflavones a day, and you need to thread those into your diet little and often around through the day. You don't want to have too much of the fermented isoflavones, because the research on Asian communities shows that they've got half the incidence of breast cancer and heart disease and osteoporosis. And so estrogen-dependent cancers are right down low. But the one thing in those who've had lots of meso, the very salty fermented isoflavones, is that they get increased stomach cancer. So I tend to keep the fermented soy down to a minimum and focus on using other soy products. Soy, if you get wholesome soy in soya milk, the reputable brands, usually they're not genetically modified. So if you get soy as an additive in a packet, the chances are it may be. So if you go for organic produce, or if you go for the big brands that are in most of our supermarkets, most of those are not genetically modified, so you can feel safe about that too. So hopefully that answers your questions about different isoflavones. So let me just go and see. I've got some other questions here that have been sent in. Just need to get this iPad open again. And let's see, where we go. So Nina said that she's in perimenopause, having problems sleeping, loss of libido, sore and tender breasts, and that someone recommended something for her, and it turned out that she couldn't take that because of fibrocystic breasts, and she wanted to know what else she could do. Well, I think it's really tricky, isn't it? Because I know that you want to help each other and recommend things, but it's really important that in this group you only recommend things that are scientifically based, not just scientifically based, but they've been tried and tested, and they've been shown to be safe as well as effective. That's, from my perspective, that's the key thing, because there are so many things on the market that really just don't work. Or maybe they have a placebo effect and they can help you just for a few weeks, and then you're back to square one again, having invested the money. So fibrocystic breasts usually indicate that there's a hormone imbalance. And by getting your nutrients into an optimum range and correcting nutritional deficiencies will help to normalize your hormone function. Also, taking naturally occurring estrogen, if around the time of the menopause, will help to normalize it too. Cutting out caffeine and chocolate will help the breasts to calm down, taking evening primrose oil, particularly Ephemerol, which is the evening primrose oil that's standardized, and that's the one that went through the clinical trials. And the trials used up to 4,000 units a day for breast, what they call breast disease. So fibrocystic breast condition is breast disease. So you can take that. If you order it through our shop at maryonstewart.com/shop, you'll get 10% discount on all the supplements. So just enter the code midlife switch 2017 and you can get discount. But certainly I'd try Ephemerol evening primrose oil for that, and lots of different dietary things as well, so you should be able to help yourself. The other symptoms that you talk about are really common perimenopause symptoms. If you haven't already been to one of my masterclasses, please, I urge you to come to those, because for a whole hour I'm talking about what's going on in your body and how you can overcome it. And that's really important that you understand what's happening. I give you lots of tips, lots of information about how you can get going on this journey to overcome your symptoms. So it's really important that you get to know that. Obviously, in a few minutes, I can't tell you all of that, but I can tell you that on my program, over 90% of the patients are completely symptom-free within 5 months, and that's not using any drugs or hormones. It's just using diet, exercise, relaxation, and science-based supplements. So it's a really effective program, and one that you need to engage on if you want to do the natural thing at this time. It's really important. There's been a lot of stuff in the news in the last few days about hormone replacement therapy, and in the last few weeks, and they're now saying that HRT is safer than they thought for women going through the menopause. But what they haven't said, and you must read my blog this week, is that there's still an increased incidence of breast cancer and stroke and heart disease. And it isn't something that you easily can choose to take for the rest of your life. Some people want to take it, and that's absolutely fine. But we found in our studies that very often women gained weight. They gained as much as 18 pounds in the first year on HRT. Some women get lots of headaches, and that's not good either. So it's really important to work out exactly what your journey is going to be. You might want to start with some HRT and then wean off it. Maybe you're already taking it and you're looking at an alternative because it's having some side effects. It doesn't help with everything either. It doesn't necessarily help with aches and pains. That can be, it won't correct nutritional deficiencies. And if you've got low levels of nutrients, your brain chemistry and your hormones just won't function normally. So it's really, really important to learn to meet your needs. If you speak to any of my past patients, they will tell you that they feel completely different, that they've gone from a really dark place to a really great place, and they're able to get on with their lives without having their symptoms bother them anymore. And so don't leave it to chance. Don't ask each other what works. Just plug in to the science-based research that's in my books, that's in my masterclass. And if you want some additional help, you can come and join me on my 6-week boot camp, and I'll give you some personal help and help you to devise your program. So there's lots of choices for you at this particular stage. So don't think you're on your own, and don't think it's all left to chance, because it isn't. So let's see what else I can find here to answer while I'm here. Is anyone experiencing this is from Victoria, is anyone experiencing a dry mouth and eyes along with dry skin and vaginal dryness? I'm wondering if these are all menopause associated or something else. I drink lots of water and take omega oils, but my symptoms are getting worse. So what's happening to you, Victoria, is that when you get to menopause, you've got low levels of estrogen in your body. And so your brain tries to kickstart your ovaries into function, and that's what the hot flushes and the night sweats are. But what happens when your ovaries stop producing estrogen is that the factory that made the cells that produce mucus in your vagina, and also to some degree in your mouth and in your eyes, just goes out of business. And it's not until you get naturally occurring estrogen back into your system, until you get your nutrients into an optimum range, that you're virtually switching the factory lights back on again. So by doing the diet things that I'm suggesting, by taking naturally occurring estrogen into your regime, by having a very nutrient-dense diet, by getting your nutrients back into an optimum range, all of those things will help you. But they may not help completely. And you could use a supplement like omega-7 made by Pharmanord, and that has been shown in clinical studies to increase the number of cells that produce the mucus and the elasticity in the vagina. And it's also been shown to help with dry eyes and dry mouth. So you can take those and follow the instructions on the packet if you're going to do self-help, and see whether that works. Give yourself at least 3 months for that. And again, you can get them in the shop, and you can put your Midlife Switch 2017 code in and get your 10% discount. So that should help you. I've treated so many women with vaginal dryness. One of my patients, Lynn, described her vagina as a burning fireball. She couldn't even sit down, let alone have a physical relationship. And within 3 months, she was back to feeling comfortable and being able to have penetration again, and just got on with the rest of her life. Equally, I've had patients with dry mouth and dry eyes as well. And it is part of this syndrome. We don't really talk about it a lot. We don't really understand it. But there are things that there's plenty of tools that you can use to overcome your symptoms. So let's see if I can take one more. Let's see here. So Carol Singer says, oh my God, all happy and wonderful moments, then with the blink of an eye, I'm an evil monster. No idea where that mood came from. Just didn't see it coming. Second, just decline that. Just didn't see it coming. And my poor hubby doesn't know what to do or say for fear of tongue-lashing, bitchy comments. Well, I can tell you that that is very common, Carol, and my heart goes out to you, because it's something that so many people suffer with. What tends to happen is you go into economy mode. So what happens is you have low levels of nutrients, and we know that from all the research we've done on women of childbearing age over the years. So those women, their nutrient levels slide downwards. They go on a downward spiral. They have babies, they breastfeed, and then you get to perimenopause, and those nutrients become in short supply. And it's those nutrients that help your brain chemistry to function normally. And the brain chemistry can't function normally if you're in what I call economy mode. So when you're in economy mode, you only do the basic things. You don't have a sense of humor, you don't have much energy, you don't have libido, and you don't say many kind words to people because you're feeling all chewed up. So what you need to do is get yourself back into good shape again. There is a nutritional tool in the group, in the documents that you can download. And if you can't find it, just say so, and perhaps Rose or Julie will post it in there again for you so you can see it. You can analyze yourself to see which nutrients you've got short of over time, and you can put those back to get yourself working normally again. So that's really important. The other symptoms will come on because your estrogen levels are falling. So your estrogen levels, it's just too, if you were a car, I always say you wouldn't expect yourself to still be running, let alone functioning. You know, if you hadn't had a service and you hadn't had an oil change and you hadn't got petrol, you just go to a grinding halt. So your body is doing the best it can, but you are in economy mode. So you just need to have a conversation with your nearest and dearest, and you need to tell them that you are going through a transition, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, that you can get your symptoms under control, that many, literally tens of thousands of women have done it before, but you need some support and you need some TLC and some love to help you get through this transition over the next few months. And that's all it takes. It doesn't take more than a handful of months to get yourself back into really good shape. And again, if you haven't been to one of my masterclasses, please come, because it will enlighten you. It's a life-changing hour. You'll get to know more about what's going on in your body and how you can fix it. So don't be afraid to communicate. Let them know you're having a hard time. As women, we always help other people. We're always there for them. We're always doing things for people. We leave ourselves till last. But when you get to menopause, you can't afford to do that anymore. You've got to make yourself a priority. You've got to learn how to meet your needs. You've got to choose your support team. Whether you choose me or choose someone else to help you, choose someone, because you need to actually get some help at this life stage so that you overcome all of these symptoms and you can go forward being completely symptom-free and feeling great again, so that you can embrace life and get on and enjoy yourself and your relationships and everything else you do in your life. So please do keep your questions coming in. I have to run now because I'm going to an engagement party, but please have hope in your heart. You're in this group for a reason. You found this group, so well done. Take a pat on the back. You've got each other to support, and there are other groups as well that I'm running at the moment where I'm giving people extra help, like the boot camp. So don't feel that you're alone. Don't feel that there isn't any wise help and advice, because there's plenty of it out there. Just choose what you want to include in your journey, and it's your journey. It doesn't have to be the same as anybody else's. So please think about it and do your research and do something to make yourself feel better. So hopefully I'll be seeing you again very soon. Bye for now.